Welcome back, all of you. The previous session we learned a lot about the basics of dragonflies. Let's continue with some more very fascinating, interesting information on dragonflies. So let's try to identify how to differentiate between the males and females. So the picture what you see to the left, the bottom and the top one are a female damselfly. One to the right is a male dragonfly, a male damselfly. So it's apply for both the dragonflies and damselfly. The same. What are the features we should look out to identify? So if you look at the damselflies, can you see the tip of the tail of those damselflies, especially the picture to the left, the bottom left? Can you see there's a bulge in the tip of the tail? But if you look to the right, which is actually missing in that damselfly. But in the second segment of a dragonfly, I mean the damselflies, which actually there's a bulge. But in the picture to the left, the bulge is missing from the second segment. So wherever there is a bulge in the second segment, that is a male. If the bulge is missing, that is a female. And if there is a proper bulge on the tip of the tail, that is a female. So these are the few things we should look out for to identify. So let's move on to the next picture. Okay, now can you all see this picture? Are you able to identify what is this? Is it a male or a female? Okay, so let's go back to the keys. What all we should look out? The second segment, there's no bulge, but in the last 10 segment there's a bulge, so that means it's a female. Okay, let's try some other images. What is this? Okay, so this picture at one go, it's difficult to identify, isn't it? You can't see any bulge. It's actually a picture from the top angle. So what you have to look for here, the tip of the tail. Can you see like a thin spines are sticking out? If it's wide, it's a female. If it's a male, it's actually joined together. Okay, I'll show it in the next picture, then you'll understand. Look at this picture. The tip of the tail, that's anal appendages, actually it's actually joined together, that spines. So but in the female, the previous picture, actually tip of the tail, it's actually it's wider. So these two keys you can actually identify with the if you don't get a good pictures, but still you will be able to identify. And also almost 90% of dragonflies and damselflies, males are brightly colored and female is less brightly colored. Okay. Now look at this picture. How do you identify? So it's very difficult to identify from these pictures because these are very tiny damselflies. But just looking at the picture one to the left is actually the male because it's brightly colored, and also there is a thin tiny bulge in the second segment. But the female to the right, interestingly, there's two females there. The bottom one, I actually put a title there. It's called andromorph. So what is andromorph means? Actually the females usually, like I mentioned, most of the females look entirely different from the males, but some of the female damselflies and dragonflies, they actually mimic the male. They'll have the same color of the male. So just to get away from the harassing other males, because otherwise if there is a female with the same color, so the dragonflies or a damselfly will avoid it. If there is a different color, the male can easily approach the female and catch them. So a lot of males will be harassing that female. So sometimes some damselflies will have this andromorph. Andromorph means just mimicking the male, same color of the males. Okay, look at this. What is this? Which one is the male and female? Both are brightly colored, but one to the right is much more brightly colored. But interestingly, what you look for here to identify male and female, look at the tip of the tail. Like I mentioned, the one to the right is actually the tip of the tail actually got two spines. It's wide, but to the left, it's actually joined. It's slightly joined together. So that is the male to the left. So it's a beautiful dragonfly called picture wing. The females are brightly colored than the males. Then becomes probably the most fascinating dragonfly in our country. It's called the wandering gliders or the glob skimmers. The name itself suggests it's actually a wandering species or a migrating species. And look at this picture here. So this is actually a picture my friend took it from called wetlands in Kerala. They saw thousands of dragonflies flying over the wetlands. I seen in when I was working in Kana Tiger Reserve, I saw the entire sky was full of dragonflies. They were migrating. So in India we have two monsoons. One is the southwest monsoon, which mainly happened in June, July, and August and all. And there's a northeast monsoon, which is mainly happened in October, November and all. So both the time there's actually a wind current which actually take these dragonflies across the continent. So these dragonflies are actually known to migrate from Africa to India, and they'll fly back to Africa. There's a return migration also. So these dragonflies actually follow rain. They need fresh water to breed. Wherever there's fresh water, they'll come there and breed. So probably India and Africa was part of one continent. They used to live. So eventually, because the dragonflies are one of the oldest insect in the world, and so in June, July, it's actually there's not much rain in Africa, so they actually fly across Indian Ocean. They'll come to India. They breed here. They'll have a lot of water to breed, and the larvae will come out, and the next generation flea will fly back to Africa. So they'll be going there, breeding there. Another generation will come back to India. So it's actually a global migration. Interestingly, a few years ago, some of the scientists did a study. Uh, they studied their gene pool of this dragonfly. Then they realized the same gene pool actually there in all across the world. This dragonfly found in US, it's found in Australia, it's found in quite a few parts of Europe. So interestingly, this dragonfly, when they come to India from here, they might be flying to Australia. I mean, from Africa, they might be flying to South America or to US. All those countries on to Europe, we don't know all this where all this dragonfly flying. Still, it's a mystery. They actually follow the wind pattern and the rain. They just fly across the world. So this is probably one of the greatest migration of any insects. And there's a picture also, a bird down there, that is the Amur falcon. I mean, you must have heard thousands of Amur falcons who actually fly across Indian Ocean and go to Africa, and they'll fly back to Russia to breed along the Amur River. So this bird also actually follow these dragonflies. So that's their main food. Amur falcon and hobbies and all, they actually feed on these dragonflies. Again, there is another very fascinating dragonfly. It's called the granite ghost. I mean, like I mentioned, dragonflies prefer water. They lay eggs in the streams or lakes or large rivers. But this particular dragonfly, they actually lay eggs in water puddles, especially wherever their rocks are there. They mainly breed in freshwater puddles, especially rainwater pools, and that's a larvae there. So interestingly, we in India we have a lot of diseases: malaria, dengue fever, elephantiasis. Most of the diseases are spread by a particular mosquito. It's called Aedes mosquito. So that mosquito also breeds in those kind of water puddles. So this dragonfly larvae actually known to feed on those mosquito larvae. That's why they control those diseases. In some of the countries in Southeast Asia and Thailand and all, they actually breed the dragonfly larvae. This particular dragonfly larvae, sell it to the other people. It's a very fascinating dragonfly. Again, another fascinating dragonfly. It's called the ditch jewel. I mean, this dragonfly found all along the large rivers or lakes and all, and also they found along the polluted streams. So look at the Latin name of this dragonfly. It's called the Brachythemis contaminata. Contaminata means it's actually adapted to breed in contaminated water. So wherever there is pollution increases, I mean, this dragonfly can adapt. So this is what we will look kind of indicator for freshwater quality. If the number of this dragonfly increases and other dragonflies number decreases, that means there's something wrong with your water quality around your place or around the lake and streams. Again, another very fascinating dragonfly, which is called the pygmy skimmer. This dragonfly, what they do, they breed in stagnant water pools. wherever there's small puddles or any small pond and all, this dragonfly known to breed there. So what they do, they don't directly lay eggs into the water. What they do, there may be some overhanging branches or sticks and all. So this dragonfly go and stick the eggs into those sticks and logs and all. So when a rain comes, when the water start flowing, so this when the rainwater hits the eggs, they actually hatch and the larvae actually drop into the water. So it's a way of survival. Imagine if a dragonfly go and straight lay eggs into the water, there'll be a lot of predator. There'll be fishes there. There are some other insects can actually go and feed on the eggs. So most of the dragonfly eggs won't survive. But this dragonfly actually adapted in a way that they actually, if there is a small pond there, if there's an overhanging stick, they'll go and lay eggs there. So eventually more larvae can survive. Another very interesting dragonfly, it's called the common clubtail, probably the most widely distributed dragonfly across India. Wherever you go, you might be able to see this. They prefer large lakes and rivers and all. But we've seen them, along some, sometimes you find them in some open fields and all. They are very predators. They go and catch other dragonflies and other insects and all. Again, other two common dragonflies, crimson marsh glider and ground skimmer. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen these dragonflies. Very colorful, brightly colored. Ground skimmers always known to sit on the ground. Crimson marsh glider, again, they prefer the running streams. And look at that, very beautiful pink color. Another two, one dragonfly and a damselfly, very common, green marsh hawk. Green marsh hawk is a very fascinating dragonfly, because most of the time when we see it, this dragonfly prefer to feed on other dragonflies. They are most of the dragonflies are cannibalistic. They prefer to feed their own species and other dragonflies also. But particularly this green marsh hawk, they like other dragonflies, and I've seen it quite a few times. This dragonfly feed on their own species also. It's a big dragonfly, but imagine a big dragonfly catching their own species and eating. Orange-tailed mustard, again a widely distributed species across India. Oh, there go one of the most beautiful damselflies in India. It's called stream glory. It's widely distributed. This particular damselfly found in running water, running streams, small or large streams, wherever if there's some rocks and all, they prefer those kind of habitat. And we observe some of the very fascinating breeding behavior. Sometimes, suppose if there is a female sitting on a stick or some other rival male and all these dragonfly, the damselfly males, what they do, imagine a water stream flowing like that. This damselfly actually fly over the stream. They actually drop into the stream with the wing open, and they float along the stream with the wing open, just to impress the males and other females, and also probably to the rival males. It's fascinating. It's a very, very, very beautiful damselflies in India. Again, very stunning, colorful damselfly. They are called open wings. Mainly found in Himalayan foothills and northeast India. These ones are I photographed from Baksa Tiger Reserve and Namdafa and all in Arunachal Pradesh. Mainly in Sikkim and all, you will see them. Mainly in the foothills of Himalayas, you see a lot. One more damselfly, pygmy dartlet. It's a very tiny, very, very tiny. It's very difficult to see it wherever, if you have a large lake or a stream or something. If you have a lot of grasses along that, if you go and just walk along the grass, you might be able to see this pygmy dartlet. And interestingly, this is, I read in a book, this damselfly, it's widely distributed in India, Southeast Asia, it's there in Australia also. So the theory says, because of the wind, if there is a strong wind current, this damselfly actually flew with the help of that wind current and spread across the other continent and all. So that's one fascinating story of this damselfly. So the females actually comes in different colors and all. Sometimes we see in greenish in color. Again, other two endemic and interesting damselflies. Indian hooded dartlet, Agriosnemis kalinga, mainly found in Orissa and West Bengal and all. So far, I think reported from there. And Kerala dartlet also, so far reported from Kerala and Goa. It's possibly found in coastal Karnataka also. Interestingly, if you look at the second segment, you can actually see a cobra hood mark. That is one of the key to identify this species. We have some very, very beautiful looking stream jewels in India. Look at that. They're mainly found in running streams. This is other two species of stream jewels found in one found on the top left is found on in Western Ghats. That bottom right is found on the northeast India. I'll end my talk in a few minutes. Before that, I want to point out something very interesting. This is one of my friend Reggie, which documented all the damselflies and dragonflies around his house. Luckily, he lives in Trivandrum, close to a wildlife sanctuary. He got interested in dragonflies and damselflies, and he took out his camera and went out and started photographing all these beautiful creatures. Then he realized he's been started documenting a lot of rare species and amazing species. So, I mean, what we heard, he reported all over 100 species of dragonflies and damselflies just along his houses. I mean, but luckily he got some few streams around there, some forest streams around his house. Luckily, that's why he managed to photograph. But still, if you have interest and if you take out your camera or your mobile phone, you might be able to see a lot of amazing species. That's why I just put it up this poster here. Okay, what are the main threats of dragonflies and damselflies? So we say a lot of birds actually feed on dragonflies and damselflies. Look at that bee eater actually catching we caught a green marshhawk. It's feeding on the green marshhawk, and a lot of spiders also feed on dragonflies and damselflies. But these are all natural things because in nature there are predators, so they'll be catching their prey and all. But what is the other major threat? So this is probably the major threat. Humans. We actually, whenever we see a paddy field or a good marshland, we want to reclaim that land and put all the sand and mud. Eventually, we want to build some big building there, and we are threatening their habitat. And this picture to the right, my friend took it from a call wetland, and that place there was a nice marshy land with a lot of water weeds and all. They went and sprayed a lot of poison and pesticide just to kill all the water plants. So eventually, all those plants also died, and the water also quality went down. So they're trying to destroy. So mainly wherever there's the land, there's water there, we are trying to reclaim that land, the marshy land. So that is probably the biggest threat of all these dragonflies. Like the protection of all the rivers. So wherever there's streams, try to protect it. If there's a dam or a large river or a lake, I mean, whatever water sources, the freshwater sources, please try to protect it. That's the only way we can protect our dragonflies and damselflies. Why do we need to protect dragonflies and damselflies? Because they are the best sensitive for freshwater ecosystem, and they are actually to protect. The moment the dragonflies go, the mosquito number will increase. When the mosquito number increases, the diseases will increase. Malaria, elephantiasis, all kinds of diseases will increase, and eventually we won't be able to live. So, I mean, dragonfly protection is also directly connected to our freshwater ecosystem. If you protect our dragonflies, that means we have to protect our rivers and streams and all. So this is some pretty looking dragonflies and damselflies found in the deep forest, like daggerhead, torrent dats, and blue hawklets and all. But these ditchuels, where do you find them? Mainly along the polluted rivers. So we can decide which one you want. You want this colorful, beautiful dragonflies and damselflies, which prefer the very good fresh water, or do you want the ditchuel? I'll end my talk with an amazing story what I photographed. This is a dragonfly. Damselfly was mating. A golden dartlet was mating with a female, and suddenly another ground skimmer came and caught the male and start feeding on it. So, but it couldn't make out. I mean, I was actually fascinated when I started photographing. Then I realized the female actually was clinging on to the male, because, like I mentioned earlier, if a male catches the female by the tail, she won't be able to get out. So eventually, I saw the ground skimmer was feeding on both the male and the female. So whenever you take any pictures of dragonflies and damselflies, and please post it in some of the online depositories, or there is iNaturalist, there is odonataindia.org, or there are some Facebook groups, Dragonfly South Asia, or there are different groups. Please post it there so you would be able to see all those, and we can help you to identify all those. Thank you.